You're watching 10 with Ken, a 10-minute interview series that's never 10 minutes. This week I got to catch up with Mark Hutchison, the former Lieutenant Governor of Nevada, to talk about why he's optimistic about our movement, what he hopes Republicans focus more on, and why Nevada is a great place to live.
I got some really good stuff for you, Ken, in terms of just
Cool.
Some hopeful signs and what we did in 2020. There's some really good stuff here. You know, I don't know if you know this. I'm on the board of directors for the Republican State Leadership Committee, which is all about electing nationwide legislators, state legislators, secretaries of state, lieutenant governors, treasurers, and then even ag commissioners. I was chairman when I was lieutenant governor. I was chairman of the Republican Lieutenant Governor Association, and about a year ago they asked me to join this broader committee here. And I got some great statistics that'll knock your socks off in terms of how well we did with state legislatures across the country.
It's excellent. And Mark, that leads us directly into our second question. We'll do the family question after that. But, you know, a lot of people here in Nevada, and I'm talking from the base all the way up, are just, there's a lot of people that are a little, I don't know, they're reeling. They're sad about losing the presidency. And a lot of us, you know, listen, President Trump was President Trump, but a lot of us kind of warmed up to him. We were excited about the direction. Of course, the pandemic was an extremely rough time for the nation and for Nevada, and but that election was a little rough, and now us Nevadans are kind of looking into 2022 already, which is terrible. We just had an election. What can we be optimistic about? What, you know, if you were talking to some conservatives and people in the movement about what to be excited about and optimistic about for our movement?
Yeah. Well, first off, we should be very excited about how well we did really in 2020. You remember all the pundits said we're going to lose the White House, we're going to get killed in the Senate, we're going to lose like 8 seats in the Senate, we're going to just get wiped out in the House, and then we were going to lose many, many state legislatures, and as a result, the Democrats would then control the redistricting process. You remember all that?
Oh yeah.
I'm here to tell you that the Republican message, the conservative message, resonated with people all over this country, and we can be proud of that. And do we have some adjustments to make? Do we have some ways in which we can improve? Of course, but let me just give you some perspective. Eric Holder, Barack Obama's former Attorney General, made it his mission over the last 3 years to raise money to flip. They said they were going to flip everything when it came to state legislatures. And the reason they were going to do that was because they would then control the redistricting process. And in this last election cycle, 2020, Eric Holder's major super PAC, as well as a lot of other leftist organizations and the Democratic Party, they spent $500 million, Ken, on state legislative races across the country because they were going to flip it all. They were going to make a mass movement. You may remember that they were talking about flipping Texas. And they were going to flip Florida, and here's what happened after the smoke cleared. We held every single one of our conservative majorities in the legislatures across the country. We even netted well over 100 seats. We netted well over 100 seats, wow. And we actually flipped 3 of the chambers to red chambers. So now we hold 62 out of the 99 legislative chambers. 62 out of the 99 legislative chambers are in Republican control. Wow. And we actually have 23 trifectas where we have the governor's mansion, the Senate, and the House within the states. And we did that all within 2020. We also, look, despite the losses in Georgia, which was heartbreaking, we wound up 50-50. And we were supposed to lose a lot more Senate races. Remember, all those Senate seats were gone. And we were supposed to lose House seats. And as you well know, we made tremendous gains in the House. We recruited. We saw the success of more Republican women, minorities. We had Asian Americans. We had Hispanics. We had Black members of our party advance in ways that we'd never seen before. That's something to be optimistic about and to really build on going into 22.
No, it is. That's excellent. And I definitely love hearing about, the trifectas and stuff like that. I mean, those are great states to be in. And that's all really great news, and definitely it was the year of the Republican woman. I absolutely agree with you. There's some strong people from Nancy Mace to, all Maria. I think it's Maria Elvira Salazar in Florida. Just incredible House members, incredible elected officials, and I'm really glad to hear that. That's great. Let's bring that down to Nevada. So Nevada, you and your PAC, and tell me the name of the PAC. Worked for some elections in 2020. What did you do? What did you hear? Were there successes that what you guys did?
Yeah, heading into 2020, I just thought, what is the best way for me to help support the Republican cause here? And President Trump was running hard in Nevada, and our congressional delegations were up for election, and we had a lot of great races there. And I thought, given my background experience as a state senator and as lieutenant governor, president of the Senate, I really love the state Senate. And that was a body that I really thought we could influence if we were able to raise enough money and we were able to do enough effective messaging of the Republican message and of those state Senate candidates' messages. And so we really made an effort, and we focused on probably 3 races primarily, with the Supreme Court race as well. And so we raised money, and we focused on Kerry Buck's race in Senate District 5. That was an open seat. We focused on Senate District 6, which is my old state Senate district, which was with April Becker. She was running against Nicole Cannizzaro, the current majority leader. And then we also focused on Heidi Gansert up north, and having Heidi making sure that Heidi had the resources that she needed to win re-election. And so we raised about $2.5 million and supported all 3 of those races. And we were successful with Kerry Buck and with Heidi Gansert. We came within 600 votes of unseating the majority leader in Senate District 6. I mean, it was razor close. April Becker did a great job. We came up a little bit close, a little bit short there. And then we helped out, with Doug Herndon's race in the Supreme Court.
That's right.
Campaign, and he came up successful. So we felt really good about our efforts there, and we felt like we made a difference because we went from 1 state Senate seat separating us from the supermajority in the state Senate, which was Keith Pickard's seat. He won it by 24 votes. To now we got 2 seats there. We got a comfortable cushion there, and then we also the Assembly did a great job. They picked up 3 seats in the Assembly, and we're out of the supermajority there.
We were in the middle of the pandemic. We're about to, the 2 big legislative priorities in Carson City right now are, restricting the governor's emergency capability, or emergency powers, and then also, just preventing tax increases and that Assembly super minority, keeping us away from that super minority. I don't think people understand how big that is for everyday Nevadans, right? I mean, for everyday small businesses, and that's where the wins are really big. Obviously, we want to control Congress, we want the Senate and House, but I feel like those seats are just so important. So that's incredible work.
Well, Ken, think about this, and this is what I think motivated a lot of people to really get behind the PAC, really get behind Republican candidates. I think most people want balance in government. I think most people want balance in government. And, we talk about that trifecta. We've got a trifecta in Nevada, and it's all Democrats. And we were literally 24 votes away from not only a trifecta in Nevada, where the Democrats controlled the governor's mansion, controlled both houses of the legislature. They were within 24 votes of controlling supermajorities in both houses. Now you got to, you think about, you think through the states in the union, who has that kind of a dominating influence. And really what I can think of off the top of my head is Hawaii and California. I mean, we were that close to Nevada becoming Hawaii and California in terms of the supermajority status in both houses and holding the governor's mansion. And after 2020, we're a long way from that, and we're much more comfortable.
As we head into this legislative session, what are you telling, or what would you want to tell, either the freshman legislators like Kerry going up, or just our Republican representatives? What are you telling them? What should they focus on that I think Nevadans want to know right now, or want them to do?
Yeah.
Where should we be focusing in this session?
There's no question. The number one issue on the minds of Nevadans, and this is borne out in all the polling, Ken, and that is jobs in the economy. Number one, it's jobs in the economy, jobs in the economy, jobs in the economy. Republicans ought to be very comfortable in this space. We are the party of job creation. We're the party of work. We're the party of blue collar workers. We're the party of employment, full employment, and supporting the businesses who can create those kind of jobs. And so I think number one is that the Republicans ought to be pounding away on policies and legislation that will promote economic growth and prosperity through job creation. And we do that through what we've always done, right? Reasonable regulation, reasonable taxes, and ensuring that we're supporting the job creators and those who hold jobs, employees as well as employers. One of the great things that Donald Trump did was he brought over the blue collar worker who really didn't have a home any longer in the Democratic Party. One of the things that we ought to be doing up in Carson City is saying, we are the party of work. We are the party of blue collar workers. We hear you loud and clear. We're not going to be these coastal elitists who just, pontificate about what ought to happen in a world where people don't actually have to get up and go to work in the morning and support their children, that somehow everybody can just stay home, hunker down, in their basement and not have to worry about feeding their children, because that's what the coastal elitists believe. The rest of America has to get up and go to work and feed their family and put them through school. We need to be champions of Americans who work hard every single day and foster and promote policies that drive that agenda.
So a lot of people talk about Californians moving to Nevada, right? I mean, we always are making the joke about these Californians, and most of them are people that are looking for a good job. They're sick of paying Los Angeles taxes. Right. Maybe their companies were closed down because of Gavin Newsom in California. What to those are working class people, right?
Yes.
What do you tell them? You're meeting them at the border. You meet a family at the border. They're about to consider moving to Nevada. What is our value proposition, or value add to that family coming to California? What should we saying to them as Republicans?
First off, you say, welcome to the great state of Nevada, where, you're still in the United States of America, and now you have left what does no longer appear to be the United States of America. They're essentially kind of coming over as, economic refugees, job refugees, and people who are looking for better life. They've been beaten down and they've been just hammered with regulation and taxes. And look, this is the promised land for them in many ways. And we ought to say, welcome to Nevada. You come make us better and stronger. And remember that the values that we embrace as Republicans, as in conservatives, are the values that you're looking for. We believe in strong families and a good job. We believe that you ought to keep more in your pocket, and you can make your decisions about how to spend your money better than government can. We think that you, as parents, ought to be making the decision about what kind of education your children have. We believe in school choice and educational opportunities, and we believe that the American dream is still alive and well in Nevada. And I think if we take that approach, Ken, we bring them into our tent, and we say, there is a place for you in the Republican Party, and you're needed here. Let's help you make us even stronger than we are, and we look forward to you becoming part of the Nevada family.
Does Nevada still, have that value add for these families? Should they skip us and go to Texas? And how do we make that case for 2022 that Nevada is still the place to be, and we can, we deserve you to come here?
Yeah. Well. Look, this has been a great. This pandemic has been a great reflection on policy and how important policy is. You look at what the difference between Florida and California. That's all you have to look at, right? These are policy difference between two governors, a red state governor and a blue state governor, and you've seen what the effects are. Florida has, for the most part, early on they shut down like most everybody else did, but then they fairly quickly opened back up, to great criticism from the media, and people are trying to kill grandma and everything else. And the governor kept saying, no, we can manage this, and we can do so in a way that doesn't absolutely crater our economy. California did just the opposite, completely shut everything down. To this day, everything is, for the most part, still shut down in a major way. Their economy has suffered, and people have suffered under that approach. These are just two different approaches to government and what ought to happen here. Nevada ought to be more like Florida, in my view. I think that, look at the National Final Rodeo is a perfect example, Ken. The National Final Rodeo brings in, last I remember, it was like, I think $200 million in economic stimulation in a time in December that typically were pretty slow in Las Vegas. And rather than try to accommodate them, and they wanted to have actually the event here, they wanted to do it in a way that they could do it with, with proper spacing and with masks and that sort of thing. And our governor said no. And so they took it to Texas, and they put the rodeo in a giant facility. Can't remember which stadium they put them in, but they spread out. They were socially distanced. They did it in a way that the CDC says you ought to do it. And now the National Final Rodeo said, we think there's a real future in Texas for the National Final Rodeos. It just is infuriating. And you multiply that by 100 different conventions when we could have said, look, we're going to be reasonable and rational. We're going to be opened up as much as we possibly can. And the way to have done that is we're not going to shut down the entire general population. We're going to target our protection on those most vulnerable. We're going to get them first off, the vaccines first, right? Florida right now, if I'm not mistaken, has literally vaccinated every single one of their elderly care facility residents. First one in the country to do that. We still haven't done that in Nevada. We got to be able to be much more targeted in protecting those who are vulnerable. Those are the ones who suffer the death at the greatest rate. We've all heard the statistics on that. If you're over 70, you got about a 5% chance of dying from this virus. If you're under 70, you got about a 1% chance. And if you're under 30, it's negligible, right? But rather than be focused and targeted, Nevada followed California's lead, which is shut it all down and destroy the economy. And as a result, at one point, Ken, we had 32% unemployment, the highest in the history of the United States. It was not an effective approach, and I think we've seen the states have done different things, and we've seen different results. And Nevada should have followed Florida's lead, not California's lead.
It's difficult because I hope that history will bear that out, because I totally agree with you. I feel like, though, that I always talk about normal people. That's my biggest thing, right? We're all in this political bubble, and I really try my hardest to think, what does a normal, non-political nerd, sort of think of this? I just worry that we've lost people's trust in free markets. So what you were talking about is leaving it open, regulating it, focusing on those, protecting those populations, for example, with the coronavirus pandemic, is focusing on protecting it while keeping things open, while moving forward. And right. My difficult thing with this is it's been really inconsistent, right? We've allowed, and I'm glad we allowed the casinos to stay open. We want that, we want people to come here to Vegas, and obviously I'm very Vegas centric because I'm here, but we let them go, but we're not letting normal small businesses conduct their business just as much as those big casinos, and that's my difficult part is government has been inconsistent. It typically helps its friends rather than just the little guy on the ground. And I think most people just want fairness, right? They want it to be, let me try to do business just as much as, the big casinos. And that's what I hope we can make that case to people, coming up, that, government doesn't always make the right decisions, but people most of the time do for themselves,
Left to their own devices, the people know much more than the government does. And, we get these, lectures that we have to let the experts, guide us and direct us. That's not democracy. That's not representative government. We don't turn over our lives to quote unquote experts. We turn our lives over to the people of the United States who elect representatives then to go make decisions. And it's just been so disingenuous to see all these governors and these politicians say, let's follow the science. And then they themselves in their own private life do just the opposite, right? Because they're the elitists. And it's, rules for thee and not for me. And as a result, people have lost a lot of trust in government. I agree with you. But as Republicans, we can build back that trust by saying we are the party of free markets, free people, right? Free opportunities. We're the party of work. We're the party of the American dream. We're not the party of big government. And we've seen what big government does versus more modest government. And we think that people can drive their lives and make determinative factors for their lives much, much better than government can.
How about you? How's your family doing, amidst the pandemic? How are you handling it? What's helping you thrive to get through it? Well,
listen, God's been very, very good to us. And our family has I think most of them have had the coronavirus, but they've recovered. And have done well after that, and we've been just really richly blessed as a family. And the thing that just helps us is we just love being together and supporting each other as a family. We all kind of have common goals. I mean, we're going to all go run this Red Rock Marathon. My son is a Boston marathon qualifier. He's going to come out here and run this Red Rock Marathon. I'm going to do like a 5K and die from it. But some of our other family members are going to run a a half marathon. And so we just enjoy each other and each other's company. We enjoy spending time together and working together. And Ken, I know you believe this, and there is nothing wrong with this in America that can't be fixed by American families. That is where the genius of America lies. It's where the genius of the world lies, and that is the family. The strength of the family is the strength of the nation, and we're just richly blessed with a strong family and wonderful members of our family. So it's good. God's good to us.
That's good. I'm glad you're able to do that, and you have a strong family. You're all good folks. Most of the ones I've met, I don't know about the rest of them. But what last thing, and I'm going to ask this to everybody that I sort of visit with is what are you reading right now? And I mean, obviously, listen, if it's a religious book, that's fine. But what's your main focus reading?
Well, I happen to have them right here on my desk that I'm at right now. So I'm going to give you the three books that I'm reading right now. One is, I don't know if you watched The Crown, or if you're into The Crown at all. Love The Crown. My wife and I love The Crown. So it really has renewed my interest in English history. And so believe it or not, I'm reading Winston Churchill's History of the English-Speaking People. And so right now I'm on the birth of Britain, and I just love it. I just love the history. Right now I'm on about the 9th century. And so we're moving forward. I just didn't realize all this, especially the kind of ancient history of Britain and the British Isles, and it's fascinating to me. So anyway, I'm reading that, and then I'm reading this great book. I don't know if you've heard of this author. His name is Douglas Murray. He's a British journalist and author, and he's written this book called The Madness of Crowds, and it's gender, race, and identity. It's all the kind of things that we're involved in right now, and his whole thesis is, look, you know what? We're in the middle of this crazy redefining of who has a right to speak or who has a right to talk. The First Amendment is under attack. People's views are under attack. We're not talking to each other. We're talking past each other. And social media is all the rage and frankly all the problem. Anyway, so he really deals with that and tackles that in a way that is really, I think, insightful. And then finally, I'm reading, believe it or not, Dennis Prager has done a commentary on the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. And
no way.
I'm reading his book. It's called The Rational Bible, and it's a commentary on the Old Testament. I'm in Genesis right now, and he called it the Rational Bible because it's rational. It's we believers who have faith and believe in God. It's rational to believe in God and have faith. Certainly, faith is just this intangible belief system that we certainly have, but it also can be a rationally based approach to religion. I'm really enjoying it.
That's excellent. We're deep. We are very deep in The Crown right now. We're all I do is a Margaret Thatcher impression all day. Please, Mark. She is such an incredible woman, and Winston obviously was such a good part of The Crown. He was a great season with it, or season 2.
Yeah. Oh, it's the best. Good.
Yeah,
so you're
it's a good show. It's a good show.
You know what I'm feeling.
Yeah, very fun show, and it's just good history. And so my wife just picked up a Margaret Thatcher book as well, so she's looking into her history. So we're right there with you, deep in The Crown. So, well, listen, I guess my last parting thing is, what's your 22 look like? Are we, are you running for something? Are you sick of politics and just focusing on work, family? Do we know yet? Is it too early to tell?
I think people are going to have to start making some decisions here before too long, Ken. I mean, you've been in the business long enough to know that if you're running for a significant office, you got to get in and, start at least kicking some tires and maybe even raising some money. I absolutely love what I'm doing now with the PAC, helping out other Republicans and trying to elect just good Republicans. And so I will at least do that. And then I'll be looking at maybe a couple races and kicking the tires and evaluating whether something makes sense or not. But still early in that process, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of good people who could run. And look, if I don't wind up running, I'll support good Republicans and be cheering for the red team.
Mark, first off, I appreciate you taking some time out of your night to talk to me today, and then just thanks for all your service to Nevada. Thanks for your service to the movement, we appreciate all you do, and look forward to seeing you keep making our movement strong here in Nevada.
Ken, you're one of my favorite people on the planet, and I'm happy to talk to you anytime. And listen, best of luck and congratulations with your new endeavor here.
Thank you, sir. We're just trying to get the best information out to Nevadans and to Americans. So happy to do it.
I don't know anybody better to reflect the conservative movement and the way in which we move the red team forward than you can.